Lake Dartmouth. How beautiful is this place? Just check out that vista. Now I'm about to catch up with a mate. He is doing some incredible work with a very, very special fish, the Macquarie Perch. When you see the work that these guys are doing, you'll be very, very impressed, I promise. Beautiful. Well, this is Jared Lyons from the Arthur Ryler Institute. Now, Jared, I'm very excited. Can you explain what we're about to go and do?
Yep, we're up here, we're looking for Macquarie Perch, and we're going to use them for broodstock to breed little Macquarie Perch.
And how do we find the Macquarie Perch?
So we've got some nets set, and they're travelling upstream at the moment to spawn, and we're going to go and check those nets now, see if we've got any.
It's like a boyhood dream. We've got nets, and I get to see what's in them. No harm we done to these fish. It's all for research, and it's very exciting.
We've got this net set here, it's called a drum net. And it's basically a big funnel. So if you just stop there. Yes, we got a macca.
Good work.
So the area that we're in now is where Macquarie Perch are holding up. Macquarie Perch start spawning around 16 to 18 degrees. We've had a bit of rain, the cold snap, a bit of snow up in the hills, and the river, the temperatures dropped right back to about 10. Starting to come up now, and so the Macquarie Perch that were up the river starting to spawn are in this staging area here, and they're getting ready to go back up again. When it gets to 16, 18 degrees, they'll start spawning. They'll go up to a rocky area or a riffle just upstream of it, drop their eggs, fertilised eggs back into that riffle. That riffle keeps them aerated, and then they'll hatch out of that. This one up here, it's called a fyke net, so it's a bit different than the last one we looked at. And what we can do with this one is we can pull it out onto the bank and make it a bit easier to check.
Sounds like a plan to me. I think we might have a fish, mate.
Looks like there's one in there. Let's have a look.
This is my kind of fishing. And why the float?
So the float's actually in there to, occasionally you'll get platypus in these nets.
Yep.
And you can pull this one in if you
Thanks,
like.
mate. Oh, look at them there.
Anyway, the float keeps the, if you do get a platypus in it,
yep,
it makes sure that the platypus can
survive.
Can survive, yeah.
Now, how do we get a fish out, mate?
So what we do with this one is we untie this end.
How big do they grow?
Up to about 45 centimetres.
Wow, that's a big fish.
And while we're here working for conservation, they actually, on a rod and reel,
yep,
they fight really, really well.
They go right.
Yeah, they got a massive big paddle tail.
Yep.
And they give you a run for your money, especially on light gear.
And being a native, a hardy species as well?
Yeah, they're pretty hardy, yes, they are. They're not like Murray cod, but there we go.
So we've pulled 4 nets. How long have those nets been in the water?
We had those ones in overnight.
Sensational, and this is our catch now. I'm very interested, mate. Tell me about these guys here.
We've got a couple of goldfish. There's actually quite a lot of goldfish in this lake.
Yep.
People brought them up for bait, really, for trout. Yeah, when the lake was originally filling, massive big trout up here, and unfortunately they've bred up, and now there is a lot of them through the lake.
Not good for the environment?
Not good for the environment at all. Most of them aren't gold like that anymore. They're sort of silver.
Mutated?
That's right.
And that's the target species, mate, the Macquarie Perch.
Just get it out so we can have a look.
Obviously wet your hands before you touch these fish. Now, how long-lived are these things, and how many eggs do they actually produce?
So they can live up to about 30 years old. Generally, the females become mature when they're about 3 or 4 years old.
Yep.
Males can mature a bit earlier than that. And the females are a big female. They don't get too much bigger than this, can have up to 100,000 eggs.
That is a serious lot of Macquarie Perch, but they do need help, and that's why the team's here. This is so cool. Interesting fact, the VFA, Victorian Fisheries Authority, amongst others, are so passionate about the plight of the Macquarie Perch. Steve Vidler, who works for them, actually had one tattooed on his body. What a magnificent scene this is. This is Dr. Zeb Tonkin. Now, you love maccas. When I say maccas, I'm not talking nuggets, Big Mac and fries. What do we mean when we say macca in this scenario?
So we're talking about Macquarie Perch, a native Australian fish. Years ago they were the dominant species up this way, right throughout northeast Victoria, and they've copped a bit of a hammering in terms of all the different threats. We've got damming, preventing their migration and things. We've got exotic species, things like redfin, carp. We've also got gold mining. Back in the early days, they put huge amounts of sediment into the rivers, and particularly those rivers where they used to spawn.
You guys are doing some amazing work, but what are you actually doing here? What's the plan for recovery?
What we're doing here is quite simple. We're up here catching spawning fish as they come up the river. We take just a small number of males and females, send them to a hatchery, they breed them up, and then we go and release them into the areas they've disappeared from.
So you're literally taking a population and putting it back where they used to be strong to give them that bit of a kick start. Now, all this work, please tell me, is not for nothing. Is it actually working, and how do you know?
Absolutely, we're getting some really neat results. So basically these areas that we're letting fish go, we send teams out to go and survey. So we go out and electrofish or net into the areas that they've released fingerlings. And we either, if we catch fish, we know they've survived. If we catch them in areas that we didn't release them, we know they've dispersed. And we can actually use genetics, so using DNA, to match them up to if they were our fish that we've bred, or if they're the fish that we've released that have started breeding, and we're actually seeing both. It's great.
So you actually have real results, which I just love. Seriously, the Macquarie Perch, it is the forgotten Aussie native fish. Make sure you look them up. They are mind-blowing. That definitely looks like a school of fish. I'm back at Lake Dartmouth. I was here recently with the Arthur Rylah Institute. This is Craig Ingram. Last time, we collected sample fish for this amazing program they're doing. This time, Craig, we're here to catch them, show people how to catch these beautiful macas. Are we a chance?
Absolutely, that looks like there's a school of fish there. This is one of the strongholds of Macquarie Perch, one of the few strongholds of Macquarie Perch. So it's a pretty good chance that we've put some worms in here, we might catch some.
Let's go nail them. To me, nothing says fishing more than a bunch of worms on a hook. How good is that? I just had a bit of a touch in, Craig. Yeah, just an. Oh, I reckon you got a touch in too, eh?
Yeah, it looks like there's
We
something
sounded
there.
a nice school of fish when we come through here.
Oh, I think I've got one on. Yeah, that's one.
Good work. What's the chance it'll be a macca?
Not sure, it's not enormous, but have a bit of a squeeze. Oh, no, it's
It's a macca. That is so amazing. Swing it around here, mate, to literally sound a school of fish on the sounder, like they were in numbers, weren't they?
Yep.
And then to come through and catch him, just swing him over this way. It's not a beast, mate, by any form of imagination, but that is so pretty. Now, only a pup, I assume this fish is not very old, and I assume it's below legal size.
Yeah, and we would let him go anyway. It's very, very important stocks, these here. So, yeah, just a little macca, probably, not quite sexually mature, but yeah, it's a nice little fish.
But it's a great sign for this system. The other important thing here too, Gamakatsu wide gape hook in the corner of the jaw. It means we can release these fish, not a problem, because we know they're not swallowing these baits, and that's so reassuring that they're going to grow up to make more little maccas. Interesting fact, Lake Dartmouth is approximately 650 kilometres from Sydney and 400 kilometres from Melbourne. As you can see, there's plenty to do when you get here. Our rig today, simple running sinker, size 6 Gamakatsu shiner hook, bit of 8-pound fluorocarbon leader to a swivel, that's probably 45-50 centimetres, then a little ball sinker. As I said, it's called a running sinker rig because that ball sinker goes up and down the main line, so when you get the bite, the fish don't feel a thing.
Oh, they got a bite there. Got a bite.
Either that or your worm swimming upstream, mate. Oh, you got him?
Oh, I think I'm back on that timber out there again.
Well, that's probably why the fish are here. That's a serious fish. I'm going to get mine out.
Yeah, that's a bit of weight in that.
Oh, I thought I had a bite then too. That is a nice fish. How good are these nibble tips, mate?
Yeah, that's a good bait rods, aren't they?
They feel fantastic. I love them on King George whiting. Love them.
I'm not sure what we
This
got.
sort of thing. It's hanging down deep. Hey, bring it around this side. I'm going to grab the net, if I can find the net. Oh, I can't find the net. Here we go. This'll do.
What have we got there? Oh, no, it's trout.
Oh, look at this. That's not a trout, mate.
That's not that size one, is it?
Look at that. I'm not going to go too early. I'm going to scoop. Now, normally, that is amazing, by the way. Normally, you don't take the net to the fish, but with trout fishing for some reason, I like to do it because if you don't be aggressive with them, they tend to snake around and slide, and that is what I call by-catch. Mate, I honestly didn't think Dart was a big trout fishery. That's a slob.
Yeah, they're fairly long.
If you can hold the net, I'm going to see. Now, trout are officially the slipperiest fish on the planet. This is a brown trout, I believe.
The hooks come out of there.
Hooks come out. Brown trout, known as Salmo trutter, an introduced species, but these are the fish that bring people to places like Dartmouth, aren't they?
Yeah, it's what Dartmouth's pretty famous for. They're a very popular fish up this way.
I just love him. This is a male. I reckon he's starting to get that cape. What a beautiful fish. He's a bit lean. I reckon he hasn't enjoyed COVID, this guy. He hasn't been like us, eating the pork roast every Friday night.
They do get some fairly long, narrow fish in some of these places, but still a good sized trout.
Speaking of enjoying tucker, mate, you like eating trout, don't you?
Yeah, don't mind eating a feed of fish.
The big question, release or you eat tonight by the camp?
I think it'll be quite nice on the fire, that one.
I knew that was coming. Sorry, mate. I got some news and it's all bad, but you are invited to dinner.
Oh, I've got a fish on.
Good work. Is it a flathead?
I don't think it's a flathead.
If it's a flathead, I'll be impressed. And this is
That
just...
feels like a bit of weight in that.
What do we got? Oh, look, what have we got? I should really net this fish for you, shouldn't I, mate?
We should.
And that is
Spectacular.
absolute quality. That is, oh, he's bouncing around. That is quality with a capital MP. After you, my friend. Look at that.
Very nice.
He's been in a good paddock, hasn't he?
Yes.
Interesting fact, the Dartmouth pub was first opened in 1986. The people are extremely friendly, and let me just tell you, the chicken parma is to die for. Even though it's stationary and the back of the boat is only in 2 metres of water, I can still reference the side imaging. Every now and then we're seeing schools of fish moving through, and it's so good just to give you that little bit of confidence you know you're in the right area.
You got a bite there.
Yeah, I'm getting, they're good bites, eh? I wasn't sure about the nibble tip, but it definitely went whack then.
Yep.
Is he coming back? Come on.
I think.
What do you think? You know more about this than me. What do I do?
I reckon you've got one.
Go.
I reckon he's there.
Oh, I reckon I've got one there. Oh, oh no, he snagged me. I can feel him.
You still there?
Yep, look, I can feel him. I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up and hope he comes out. This is a good fish. Yes,
Yes, off.
got him out. There's a trick for you. If you get snagged, open the bail and hope he comes out.
Would you like me to net him for you?
I would seem that's probably the biggest Macquarie Perch I've ever caught in my life, mate. You know what I love about this? You've got a very small net, so my fish looks very, very big. Now, I'm going to wet my hands. These fish are way too important not to look after them properly.
That is a beautiful Macquarie Perch.
Look at that. Now,
And as you know, we've the VFA and Arthur Ryler and a whole lot of partners are trying to bring these fish back, recover the populations. And you know, there's a land care grant that the Victorian Fisheries Authority has received to fund some of that work. There's also money from bushfire recovery as well from the Commonwealth.
Yep.
And that money is going to basically breed these and try and recover populations in other areas where they've disappeared from.
so good. All I'm going to say is money well spent. That is my best Macquarie Perch ever, and I hope this inspires you to come here or come somewhere and catch them. Cracking fish, going back. Off you go, mate. I'll just swim it for a second there. They're so cool. Give him a little tickle, and away he goes. Look at that. It's just so big, so broad. I know I'm coming back to catch him again, I'll tell you that. Those snags, seriously, they smell amazing. It is so good. Now, it's been a few months since I was here with the Arthur Ryler Institute collecting those big broodstock. Today, Craig, we went out and caught some beautiful macas, trout. We got to experience the angling joy of this species. But tell me, those broodstock that I helped catch, how did they make their way from here back to Snobs Creek?
almost 007. They took a chopper ride over the hills, and we did that because it's a lot faster. We want to get those fish into the hatchery in the best possible condition.
Well, they say pigs don't fly, but Macquarie Perch do apparently. And the big question, mate, for all this effort, all this energy, the dollars, was the program a success?
Yep, absolutely. You know, we had fish in good condition. We've bred and been successfully spawned young Macquarie Perch. They've been stocked into waterways. And the real aim of this is to, into the future, recreational fishers can again enjoy this great species because they haven't had the opportunity to catch maccas for a couple of decades. And we'd really like to see them back so that rec fishers can enjoy what are a great fish.